Hello everyone, and welcome back to Comics for Casuals, the show that has one random episode way outperform every other one and most of the other things on the channel. And it's about Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Who would have guessed? Anyway, welcome back. It's been a minute since I made one of these. They can take quite a bit of time to make, and the last one didn't do super well, even by our standards. But I'm back now thanks to YouTube recommending the crap out of one of my old videos, and the fact that one of you had a very specific request. The DC horror character, the Swamp Thing. Now, let's not waste time and just get right into it. Also, I'll be replacing footage of my face with gameplay from Injustice 2, which Swamp Thing is in, so there you go. Now, onto the good stuff. Full disclosure, I haven't read a lot of Swamp Thing. He has had his own fair share of solo series, but he also appears a lot alongside other characters. He's been featured in animated DC movies and even had a live-action TV series that was cancelled prematurely due to taxes, I guess? And that's not even mentioning the Wes Craven adaptation from the 1980s. You know what, actually, let's just go ahead and not mention that one. He is a fantastic character, and I am super excited to be talking about him. Now, like with most comic book characters, there have been multiple Swamp Things throughout the years. But honestly, most of those don't really matter. I'm only going to be going over the Alec Holland version of the character, the most popular and the most common version. The Alec Holland version first appeared in Swamp Thing #1 from October to November of 1972, and it was created by Lin Win and artist Bernie Wrightson. Alright, now to actually talk about the story. Alec was a scientist, along with his wife Linda. Together they invented a biorestorative formula that theoretically could solve the world hunger problem. Sounds pretty legit, right? Well, an evil criminal organization named the Conclave wasn't too stoked about it. Nathan Eller, head of the Conclave, sent 2 thugs out to Alec's secret lab in the Louisiana Bayou. They attack and knock out Alec and plant a bomb in the facility. He wakes up just as the bomb goes off and gets doused in flames and the biorestorative formula. As he burns alive, he runs into the swamp, where the formula causes his memories and conscious to merge with the plant life of the swamp. He then literally pulls himself together, or, at least makes himself look somewhat human, and thus the Swamp Thing is born. Although, it is worth mentioning that while Swamp Thing has the memories and conscience of Alec Holland, he isn't technically Alec Holland anymore. He's a plant monster that thinks he used to be human. Kind of tragic, honestly. Now, that's basically the whole origin of the character, but there are still some other things I wanted to mention about him. First of all, Swamp Thing isn't exactly a hero or even necessarily a good guy. He's a plant elemental created to serve the green. What's the green? Good question. I'm glad you most definitely said that out loud to yourself just now. Okay, so this is where things get weird, but honestly kind of cool. So the green is basically an elemental force that connects all plant life on Earth. It's kind of like the DC equivalent of Mother Nature. Swamp Thing is the champion of the green, so when it comes to defending people or defending plant life, his priority will always be the green. Which is why I say he isn't exactly a good guy. He mostly is, but humans just aren't what he fights for most of the time, so it's kind of a gray area. He's a plant elemental, and they existed long before humans did. They are born when an animal dies in flames and merges with the earth. Sound familiar? And their whole purpose is to protect plant life. When an elemental has served their time, they join the Parliament of Trees, a unified mind of former elementals that command the green. Neat, right? Also, real quick, Poison Ivy, the plant-based Batman villain? Her powers also come from the green. Fun fact. Because of his connection to the green, which is pretty otherworldly source of power, Swamp Thing often falls in with the magical side of DC characters. You'll often find him alongside characters like Zatanna, or John Constantine, the Hellblazer. Even his solo series started out as a horror comic, and the Swamp Thing TV show I mentioned earlier follows the roots, pun intended, of his story really well, so if you want to see a good version of the character, then that's a great place to start. Although, be warned, it is for mature audiences only. So, there we go. I do want to mention that this doesn't go through the whole history of Swamp Thing, hence why it's so short. There's a lot of that to go through, and this is specifically for the more casual fans to understand the basics. After watching this, I hope you seek out and learn more about Swamp Thing, because honestly, it's all pretty insane in the best way. A lot of his solo series, and even the one I talked about with his origin, can be found on DC Infinity, whatever they call it. Not sponsored, just it's like $7 a month. It has a whole bunch of DC comics, new and old. If you want to read it, that's a good place to do it. That being said, thanks for watching. I'm glad to be back making these, and I hope you liked it. I'm sorry it's a little shorter, but these really do kind of just vary on how much there is to talk about. If you did, leave a little like and a little subscribe. That would be appreciated. Check out the rest of the Tin Max channel. We got some pretty awesome stuff, if I do say so myself, completely unbiased. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.